All right, gentlemen. So yesterday we started with this quote from the last of the really great Wang Doodles about this idea of understanding that there is something beyond just what we see if we just look a little closer. So the quote was Lindy asked, like, what is a dimension? And the professor says, it means going one step beyond what you already see and finding another world. So I want to start with something very ordinary, just this number chart here. It goes from 1 through 50 and looks fairly normal. You'll notice these are all integers, they're all whole numbers. That kind of goes by tens. These are all nice things to notice. But if we want to go a little further, I'm going to ask you to actually take the square root of every number. Now, you can do that with a calculator. The first couple, some you can do right in your head, right? The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2. Um, we don't know what the square root of 2 is because there's no number times itself that we can think of that's exactly 2. Um, Remember, it doesn't mean take half. It means what number times itself. So the best way to find a square root is using a calculator. I'm going to give you the link to this calculator right here. And just because it gives you a whole lot of digits, you can kind of see patterns. And um, I want you to find the square roots of each number. Now, I've done the first couple for you. I want to show you what happens. So in this calculator, which looks like this, um, I can just put a number in, press the square root button, and press equal. So the square root of 1 is 1, and we know that because 1 times 1 is 1. Then you go to 2, square root of 2, and you get this crazy looking number, which looks like it's huge, but if you find the decimal right here, it's really just about 1.4. So if you multiply 1.4 times 1.4, you'll get really close to 2, not exactly. If you multiply 1.41 times 1.41, you would get even closer to 2, but not exactly. If you multiply 1.414 times 1.414 times times itself, you would get really, really close to 2, but still not 2. Actually, let's just do that real fast. 1.4, let's clear that off. 1.4 times 1.4 is 1.96, really, really close to 2. But it was really 1.41, right? So if I multiply 1.41 times 1.41, I get 1.980, almost 2. But it was really, remember, it was 1.414 times 1.414. Oh man, almost 2. And the crazy thing is, if you took all of these numbers, I'm just going to take, like, as many of these as I can. I'm going to copy this, clear it off, and see if this works. Paste. Does this work? Yeah. And then I'm going to multiply it by itself. Look at that. It is almost exactly 2, 1.9999999, but it's not exactly 2. So you can take as many as you want, and you will never get exactly 2. And that's the crazy thing about the square root of 2. The square root of 3, let's see what happens with that. Same thing. It's a little bit bigger, though. Notice it's like 1.73. But again, it's not like this never ends and never repeats. Like, look at this. There's no pattern here. 7, 3, 2, 0, 5, 0, 8, 0, 7. Oh, is it 0 every other number? No, that pattern breaks. Oh, 2 8s in a row. Does that pattern? No, no pattern continues. It just random digits forever and ever and ever. And it doesn't even end here. This is just as far as this calculator can go. It goes on forever. It is a never ending, never repeating decimal. And that's just the square root of 3. Now let's go to the next number. Let's take the square root of 4. Nope. 2. It's just a nice regular old 2. Not 2.1, just 2. Well, let's keep going. Square root of 5. 0.23, a little bit bigger than 2, right? Square root of 6. A little bit bigger, 2.44. Square root of 7. 2.64, and on and on and on and on. These are all irrational numbers, right? Because they never end and they never repeat. That's what we were talking about in the video yesterday. So the square root of 6, the square root of 7, the square root of 5, the square root of 2, the square root of 3, these are all irrational numbers. How about the square root of 9? 3. Right? Like, how about that? That's crazy. It's just a nice 3. So what I want you to do is find the square root of the first 50 numbers just using this calculator. I did the first 10 for you. What you're going to do on a piece of paper is you're going to make this little chart, and you are going to just write the square root of 1, which is 1. You're going to write the square root of 2. Now just write the first 5 digits and then dot, dot, dot. Whenever you see that dot, 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 that means the number never ends and never repeats. And when you're done, you are going to take a picture and send it to me. And that is your classwork for today. The first part of your classwork for today. And then the next part is like, let's look for some interesting patterns. Like, and I'll stop here. Do that, send it to me.